Welcome to Restaurant Influencers, presented by Entrepreneur. I am your host, Sean Walchef. This is a Cali BBQ Media production. In life, in the restaurant business, and in the new creator economy, we learn through lessons and stories. Today, I have a good friend, Chef Joe Gatto.
Thanks so much for having me, my man. This is awesome.
Well, welcome to our studio at the sales kickoff of Toast. I'm here in Boston, so we've made the trip to Boston, and when I came to Boston, I realized I haven't had you on the show since we launched Restaurant Influencers.
Yeah,
I've had you on Digital Hospitality, but I haven't had you on Restaurant Influencers, and I believe our audience, our viewers, our listeners, and anybody that's new to the show needed to know who's Joe. Who's Joe?
It's such a long and complex question, right, that I can answer. Yeah, this is, I can't thank you enough for having me. We've been friends for a long time now.
Yeah.
So feels good to sit down with you and actually chat a bit.
So for us, the premise of why we do this show is because restaurants are hard. I've been a restaurateur since 2008, and we've built a media company on top of our restaurant. And for us, we care so much about storytelling. I thought when I was building Cali Barbecue that if we built a great restaurant, if we did phenomenal food, phenomenal hospitality, be so good they can't ignore you, people from all over San Diego County would learn about our barbecue, learn about our restaurant, and the local media, national media, would come and tell stories about us. And those stories would fill our restaurants, and then we would open up more restaurants. Well, nobody came.
Right.
Which was the big problem. It was my aha moment of maybe I should start telling my own story, which brings us to here, to this show, to this thesis, to why I wanted you on the show, because you've been in production.
Yeah, I mean,
prior
I've been both
to your
sides.
chef career.
Yeah.
Prior to your streaming career. So give the audience a quick background of who you are and what you built.
Well, I'm Joe Gatto. I'm a chef, and my background's a little different than most of the people you probably interview because I don't have a restaurant. I'm a private chef.
Oh, we don't care if you have a restaurant or not.
I did like A-list, Celtics players, Red Sox players, things like that. And then I have my own TV show called From Scratch, because what I'm known for is I make everything from scratch. So I hand forge my own knives. I pull water out of the Atlantic. I make salt. I make my own charcoal. I break down whole animals. Like anything in that realm is what I love to do. And I found a little niche, and I have a background in filmmaking. That's what I was before I was a chef. Since I was a kid, I made film. And that was great because when it came to my career, I kind of married both of them by making a TV show, because I had such an extensive background in film and production and everything else that a show came very naturally to me. So when my wife said, you should really get in front of the camera and do something, that really sparked a little nugget in my head. And I said, okay, I'm going to sit down. It took a week. I wrote a pilot, and we shot it. And I thought I had something. Just from the coverage point of view, and when we edited it all together, we had 23 minutes. That was really tight. And I said, okay, this is an interesting premise, because making everything from scratch is something that when I was first building the show out, people were like, geez, Joe, I don't know. Like making something from scratch, that doesn't sound like a half hour to me. But the first show, I made a BLT, so I ground my own flour. I made the bread. I took a pig. I broke it down. I made the bacon. I made a sriracha mayo, so I made the mayonnaise. I made the sriracha, and then we went to the farm to get the lettuce and the tomatoes. And when we built out the sandwich, it was fucking kick-ass. And the way we shot it, I had stop animation in it, and I used a lot of film techniques that I knew because I'm still just such a film guy, right, from French New Wave to now. And we had this really unique piece. So I still knew people in the industry, and I sent it to a couple of them, and they thought it was fantastic. And this story's kind of crazy. So by happenstance, my wife had asked me to do one of my pasta classes, because I do big events all around Boston, and we do crepe classes, pasta classes, taco classes, and it's 30, 40 people at a time. A lot of places right around here in the Seaport. And she said, could you do a private class for my best clients? She was doing real estate. I want to throw them like a thank you. And I thought you doing a pasta class for them would be a great one. So I was like, sure, of course. Do the class. We're hanging out. I'm hanging out with everyone after. And they said, hey, Joe, have you ever thought about opening a restaurant? And I was like, no, that's not what I do. Like I'm kind of a diva. And they said, oh, because we're angel investors and we're looking to invest in a restaurant. And I said, oh. I said, well, I know some people. I said, but you know what's funny? I was like, I just finished editing a pilot to a show I did. And they were like, oh, could we see that? Sure. So I sent it over. A couple weeks later, we're in the middle of making a deal and they funded an entire season.
Amazing.
So I sat down and it took me 3 months. I wrote an entire season. And then we went all around New England and we shot the whole season out. And I mean, we did everything. We went to Portland, Maine. We shut down the entire, like we had the whole main city. We were flying drones. It was a party for like 2,000 people. We were making pizzas from scratch for everyone. And we just brewed beer there in Portland. And we just did everything. We, like I said, we made salt, charcoal, just everything you could imagine. I went to the core of it. And we finished that up. And I sent it to a friend of mine who does sound design for bands like the Foo Fighters and things like that. He wrote me, this guy Tony, and he was like, he watched the pilot and he was like, hey man, this show's fucking awesome. He's like, you should definitely do something with this. He's like, this isn't just good for a cooking show. He's like, this is a really good fucking show. And he said, do you mind if I send it to a friend of mine over at Principal Media, which is a distribution company? I said, sure. He sent it over, went up the chain very quickly. And then I got a call from the VP of Principal Media, Danny Bellardi, who's now a great friend of mine, and they acquired it. And next thing you know, they showed it to Pluto, and then we were streaming, and we became the number one for a year in the food space there. So it just kind of like absolutely took off, and then now it's led to me being with all these other production companies like Buck Productions out of LA and Toronto. And now I'm developing shows, and I'm actually developing a scripted show, like back to my roots, which is called Mini Balls, which is about professional miniature golfers. And it's a comedy, and we're already up and running. I have the whole season written. So at the same time, I'm doing what I love in food. So I find food has given me so much because I'm really malleable. I just love doing things that really serve my soul and help people. So it just keeps leading to other places, and I keep doing food, and I keep meeting people like you, Andy. It's just a really interesting journey for me. And that's what I love about it, because food is different for me. I love putting out fantastic food, but the connection it gives and the connections I've gotten from it, and not just like for, to get something done, like true connections, friendships. It's really meant the world to me, and food is the key, because it's bigger than just what you're putting on the plate, because food leaps over politics, leaps over language, it leaps over everything, right? Religion, it doesn't matter. When you put a plate of food in front of somebody, you're putting a part of your soul there. And people really respond to that because you're giving a piece of yourself. It's very deep and meaningful. And that's what I've found, and it's led to this crazy career that I absolutely love with people that I really adore, because I never want to work with people I don't like. Yeah. It holds no interest to me. And I never wanted a job where I wasn't in charge. I wanted the freedom to do what I wanted to do, to travel and just kind of create more. And as I've done it, everything just keeps changing and morphing and becoming something different and something more powerful. And I'm a big believer in incorporating my family into it and my kids. And you can see that on my IG all the time. It's not me and food. We're intertwined. So it's really meaningful for me.
When we talk a lot about the creator economy, and as restaurateurs and entrepreneurs, I mean, we're creating food businesses. You know, you create as a private chef, you're
No.
creating a food business. As a content creator, as a filmmaker, you're also a creator. There's the business side of the creator economy that I don't think is discussed enough about. We've learned so many painful lessons of how hard it is to put on shows, to produce shows, to self-fund shows. I mean, the first podcast that we did, Behind the Smoke, which is now Digital Hospitality, started in 2017, and nobody listened. You know,
Right.
we put out a show that I had payroll dedicated, I had money set aside, the amount of time and effort that we spent to get that show off the ground every single week, not just producing the show, publishing the show, but promoting the show, and then every week making it better, to the fact that it didn't take us until from 2017 until 2022 where we got our first brand deal.
Jeez.
There's a reason why people don't do it.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, it's fucking hard.
It's fucking hard. And people ask, what's the ROI? What's the return on investment of me investing in storytelling? Mm-hmm. And for anybody the reason why we do this show is to show people, you know, I'm sitting here with you. Mm-hmm. You and I have connected through storytelling.
Yeah.
I was literally sitting with Aman Narang, the co-founder of Toast, you know, a billionaire.
Right.
Sitting here sharing his story, allowing us the opportunity to share these stories. What have you learned on the business side of the creator economy?
Well, I think having the introduction in film, because I moved to California when I was 20 and started film right there. And I mean, these guys who do production, they know it's a shit show. And it's a lot of no's, and it's a lot of having to just lug and doing things for free, and because everyone wants to tell their story.
Yeah.
It's a very crowded market, no matter what it is. Film, what we're doing, right?
Social media, TikTok,
it's
podcasts,
just really crowded
YouTube.
too. And you can be doing wonderful work, and it won't stick out.
Yeah.
It just won't. But the thing I've learned, one of the big things I've learned, is I'm a big believer in just saying fuck it. Mm-hmm. This is what I do. This is what I love to do. I'm going to keep doing it. And what happens is, like, I think From Scratch is a great example, right? People were like, they didn't get it. Even my wife, when I started laying out the season, she was like, she believes in me, but she was like, she was a producer. That's how we met.
Yeah.
And she was skeptical. And everyone's just like, yeah, I don't see it. And I came to this belief and understanding where it doesn't matter what anyone else sees. It doesn't matter what anyone else believes. I don't believe this is a good product. It doesn't really matter because it's up to me. Mm-hmm. I have to do it. You don't have to do any of the work. It's easy to sit back and say, I don't think that idea is good. But I've learned on the business side that you have to keep doing what you do. Don't follow trends. Don't just jump in and say, oh, this is what's popular. I'm going to do something like this. You tell it from the heart, and you tell your story your way. Maybe it's different. Maybe it doesn't make any sense to anyone right away. But if you keep at it and you keep trying, people will find you. They found my show. I thought it was going to be the nichiest. I thought there was going to be like 6 people in the Midwest that were like, oh, this is cool. He has a cow on it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it just kept going, and more people found it. And I got more emails, more Instagram DMs. People were like, oh, I enjoyed your show. Oh, this really helped. I love this show. And then it led to me getting, I have a show on WBR, which is NPR for Boston. Mm-hmm. So it led to getting exposure to getting that. And then I get to cook live. Like tomorrow I have my show. So I'm going to make pancakes in pajamas. And like we just talk, and that reaches a large audience. And people just love to hear like that food shouldn't just be, I'm stressing to get it on the table, that there should be some enjoyment to it. And the stories behind the food, that. The stories behind the food are super powerful. So that's what my focus has become. And now the business starts to come from it. And it was mostly just from exposure to different markets and being in, Boston Magazine and this, it's a hustle. And the thing is, if you're getting into this field, you just have to know, like we said, it's hard.
Yeah.
There's a lot of hustle. You're going to get 1,000 no's for one yes. But that's all that matters is that one yes.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be working with people that are telling you no anyway, because that means you're not a good fit. It takes a lot of balls to keep going.
It does.
I mean, you built a really great company with great people and a great message. And like you said, in 2017, no one's listening. But
No
it's
one
your
cares.
heart.
Yeah.
And it's your hard work. That's why the naysayers, they're going to come out of the woodwork. I still get them, right? Like, but who cares?
Mm-hmm.
They have nothing to, someone can say something nasty to me on Instagram or something. Yeah, you don't even matter. Like, I'm doing this for me and my family. So I have to keep believing in myself. And then I feel that the business builds off that. I didn't build a business plan. I didn't do it that way. That route works too for people.
Sure.
But I like to surf the wave.
Yeah.
And I like to live life. And there's a great story that happened to me when we have a place in Tulum in Mexico. This is kind of the foundation of, it's really what I believe in for food. So my wife and I went down there to check it out. And Tulum's amazing. And Tulum without 3 kids is even more amazing. I don't know if you guys have kids, but holy crap, trying to go to the beach with a kid,
Yeah.
3 kids.
Yeah.
It takes 2 hours just
We
to
know.
get there.
I know all
right?
about it. I got a
Yeah.
6-year-old and a 4-year-old.
See, you're dragging things,
Oh, I
and then
know.
you get there, and
I know.
you're afraid they're gonna drown, or
Yeah.
it's just like a shit show. So we were in Tulum, and we were like, hey, let's go to the beach. Oh, we can just go. It's great. So my wife and I were having a blast down there. We were staying at this place called the Aliyah, and it had the most amazing restaurant. Just the food was, I hate the term authentic, but the food was very regional and just blew me away. And I ordered a dish called Conchinita Pibil, which is one of my favorites, like pulled pork on steroids. And it was the best I ever had. And I make it, and I'm obsessed with it. And I just couldn't believe how good it was. And then we got a churro for dessert. And this thing, I've never seen or tasted anything like it. It was like crunchy, and it had it was kind of like the center wasn't like a donut. It was just incredible. So I ended up talking to the waiter and telling him, and he went back and told the chef, and the chef came out. So we're just shooting the shit back and forth. He doesn't speak English, and I don't speak Spanish. And as my wife tells it, next thing you know, I'm in the kitchen
Yeah.
with him, and he's teaching me how to pipe these churros. And here's the kicker. We go back and we eat the churros. He comes over and sits down. He has the waiter translate the recipe, which is his great-grandmother's recipe, into English and gives it to me. So I have it on my fridge. And anytime we make churros at the house, we use that recipe. Now, he's passed on his heritage to me.
Yeah.
He's passed on a piece of himself to me. That is food. And that's what I wanted to build a business off of, is that feeling, that kind of connection, that kind of deep-rooted giving that nothing else in this world can do. So the business side is hard because you have to find your path. If you have a restaurant, you can say, okay, we have to do this. But like you said, who's coming?
Yeah.
And you start telling stories. First, no one listens, but you just have to keep talking, because eventually, if your story's right and your story's good and your story's true, they'll find you,
Yeah.
So on the business side, it's hard for me to say like anything numbers wise, but I can tell you I've learned to trust myself and to trust the stories that I'm telling, and that people will find me because I keep telling stories that are real, that are true, and that mean something to me.
When you're talking, it reminded me of something that I read about a Michelangelo quote, and they were asking, back in the day, his creative process of sculpting. And one of the quotes is, I had to keep sculpting until I could set the angel free.
Oh, sweet.
Like, it didn't matter what anyone else saw.
Right.
I'm going to sculpt until I can set this angel free. And when you think of the dedication for all the naysayers, for creating a show, for creating a business, for really doing anything,
Yeah.
for you, do you remember at what point, Joe as a little boy, where you got that belief?
You know, I just always have been on the art side. It's just always been in me. And I think it's my mom, just her work ethic. She's not an arty person per se, but she has amazing work ethic. And she doesn't care what anyone says.
Yeah.
She does it her way. And I think that just translated, I just happen to be in the arts. But it's definitely stems from my mom, because she does things her way. And she does them, she's with truth and love. But she doesn't really have a lot of give on either side, which is fine. But I think that's what it is. It's really the work ethic that my mom instilled, and it just translated into the arts for me, because the arts like we were talking about, they're still a business,
Yeah.
right? I mean, putting a screenplay out there, it's still a business.
Can you talk about the art of the pitch? Because we're actually, at the sales kickoff for Toast, and I wish I was able to hear him speak, but Chris Voss, who is a former FBI negotiator, Never Split the Difference is the book, but he was the one who gave the keynote today. I saw him down at Starbucks, and I had to say, thank you for writing the book. But when you think that in the negotiation world, somebody that's listening to this show, they see shows get produced.
Yeah.
Everything has to come with an idea. Mm-hmm. That idea it starts in our heart, and then we go and we create it. But then eventually we have to convince one other person of our crazy idea. I need one person that's crazy enough for me to better articulate what I want to create, and then us go and create it. What is your gift of how did you learn how to pitch?
I always believe that the pitch is not about your product. The pitch is about you. You are what they're buying.
Yep.
If they believe in you, they'll believe in your idea. If you have an idea that needs a lot of work and molding, if they believe that you're the guy or the girl, they'll take a chance. If you have a great idea, but they don't like you and they think you're shit, they'll pass because there's more great ideas. You're it. They're buying you, like your soul. You're there with your idea. So you have to be good in the room, and you have to know that there's going to be, let's just use screenplays for an example. There's going to be 20 good pitches that day. A lot of people have a lot of good ideas.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of good writers, a lot of good chefs. I'm pretty good at explaining who I am and why I want to do it. And I don't hold anything back. I never try to say what people want, what I think they want to hear. This is me. I'm a little unhinged. I'm pretty fun. No one will ever outwork me. And my ideas are pretty good. But I don't work the normal way. But if you get to know me, you'll know we can make something happen. And that's my biggest thing to take away when anyone's going into a room. Just know, don't try to say what you think they want to hear. They don't want robots. They want something unique.
Yeah.
And you're unique. If you're you, they haven't seen anyone like you. If you're just answering the way that you think, they've seen 20 of you that day. So that's my biggest thing in a pitch, is just let loose. If you drop an F-bomb and someone gets offended, well, that's fucking Tuesday.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you can't worry about it. Like, if someone doesn't want to work with me because I said something like, I dropped an F-bomb during an interview, well, then I wouldn't want to work with you either. Because I'm never going to make what I want to make with you. But if someone just laughs like you, then it's like, yeah, let's do something. Let's keep working.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why we've stayed friends.
Yeah.
You know, there's no bullshit with you.
I don't have time.
Right, neither do I. I've got like 6 businesses and 3
Yeah.
kids, you know? Getting out today, this is playtime for me. I mean, this
Yeah.
is great, you know? My kids are like, "Oh, can we do this?" I'm like, "I'm on an interview."
Yeah.
Sorry, kids. I'll be on an interview till 7:30 tonight.
What
So you guys are staying late, just so you know.
what have you learned about creating a podcast?
That it's way harder than I thought.
It's not just
And,
start a podcast and it like
And that I would never do it again unless I had someone producing for me, because I love being on a podcast.
yes.
And I love doing the podcast. I love producing shows, but producing a podcast properly
Correct.
is such a humongous amount of work, because you're not only just like teching it, you've got to promote it. You got to get people to know about it. You've got to shape it. You've got to edit it. You've got to get graphics. You've got to come up with title cards. You got to, holy shit.
Yes.
You know, I
know.
started one,
I know.
and like I was like, I'd look at the podcast and I'm like, this is not the podcast I meant to make.
Yeah.
What the hell is this? And then all of a sudden it was like no one could do anything, and they're like, "Oh, you know, Joe, can you do this?" I'm like, "Holy crap." Now it's like a job.
It's a job.
And I just liked doing this.
Yeah.
And because I produce everything else, I didn't want to produce that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that kicked me in the balls, and I immediately said no thanks, because you got it, man. Like
I've got a team.
I've got a
team. I've got a team. I'm smart enough to know what I can't do.
Holy shit! I you know what I figured out? I like being a guest on podcasts. And when someone said, "Do you want a water?" my cup was just magically filled up. That was awesome. See, if I was producing, someone
Yeah.
would say, "Can I have some water?" And I'd be like, "Oh shit,
Shit,
I forgot to get waters."
Yeah. What have you learned about social media?
Social media is a fun one. I think the thing about social media, I'm not a big fighter on social media. I don't engage negative. Like, I'm not like that. Social media for me is just playtime. And I think the reason I got followers for Instagram and things like that is because I have a lot of fun. I mean, that's for me. I started trying to shape it a little more and make it more business oriented. The podcast was part of that and stuff like that. And then it just became no fun for me. And I like connecting with my audience by, like I did a great piece with Andy Husbands, who you just
Yep.
had on. And we did a super fun one. I still have that filmmaker in me. So I love making films, little short films on there. But then the next one, it was me taking my kids skating down at the duck pond here. And my girls were just skating, and, that was a super fun day. I mean, granted, my wife fell back and hurt her wrist, and then my daughter got her finger run over by my other daughter with a skate, and there was blood. But I mean, that's skating, right?
Yeah.
That's the fun of it. So for me, social media, it's a very powerful tool to keep in touch with people, to keep people engaged. And like, I do a lot of like food posts and making things at the house, and just, I still love, because I have a still photography background, I still love doing stills of everything I make. So it's a great way to keep people engaged and up to date with what you're doing.
Yeah.
And that to me is part of my business, is to keep people like, I'm going to be here. Like, we'll take some pics today and link up, and people know what I did today, and they'll look at you and they'll start following you. But I mean, there's some people like you guys, like there's beast mode, and I'm just like,
There's beast mode. Yes.
I like,
It's my mentor, David Meltzer, talks about the consistent, persistent pursuit of your potential. And when you go all in on a craft, back to the Michelangelo example, it's how do you consistently produce quantity, speed, consistency. With quantity, speed, and consistency, we will get to the quality we hope for. The problem that most people have is that they want quality first.
Right.
We see quality.
And my mind immediately went there. I was like,
Like,
why wouldn't
oh,
it be quality first?
because that's what we want. We say be the show, not the commercial.
Oh.
Everyone wants when I talk to marketing executives that haven't done any branding or haven't done any content, they go, okay, let's start doing content. Well, what they want is a commercial. They want a Super Bowl commercial of their business.
Right.
You know what my children do? My son who's 6 and my daughter who's 4, the first button that they learn how to hit on digital was skip on YouTube. First button. No one taught them how to do it. They were just watching their stories, and then an ad came up, and they went skip. Because we don't want our content interrupted. Be the
Right.
show, not the commercial. If you're the show, every single day documenting. How do we get better at documenting? How do
That's
we get
great.
better at publishing? How do we get better at promoting?
That's great. I really like that. Because that's true.
It is true because now once you've figured out how to become your own show, your own brand,
Right.
you've gotten so many more opportunities.
See, that's an interesting thing because that's something I didn't figure out right away with social media. That I'm the brand.
Yeah.
That was it. The light bulb went off a couple of years ago, but I'm the brand. Me with my girls and my son, like that's the brand. Like me, just
Yeah.
doing what I do, is why people watch. When you try to overcraft content, that's where it starts getting lost.
It's completely, when you're talking about scripted for film, it's completely different than scripted for content.
Right.
Scripted for film is an art. Scripted
Right.
for content is a fucking advertisement.
Right.
It's a corporate video that nobody wants to see. I want to hear a story. I want a lesson from the story. If you tell me a story and you tell me a lesson, now I'm engaged.
Remember us talking about that when I started the podcast.
Yeah.
Because you were laying down the beast mode for me, and I was just like, yeah. I was like, I see the difference, and that's it's interesting because you always want to make something. I'm always like, oh, I want to make the trailer.
Yeah.
Like that's in my head. I want to make
You make the trailer. Yeah.
you know, like I can see these giant ants. Like
Yeah.
my head just goes a million miles an hour of like some big trailer. But when you're the show like that, you really do. That's when people get to know you, and
Yeah.
that's when they're invested. And that's the difference between dragging in someone that will just look at your content and then eventually unfollow you to someone that's invested. And when someone's invested, that's when business opportunities arise because you really have an audience that cares about you. And I know that's what the people I follow.
Yep.
Like I follow them and I want to see what they're going to do because I'm invested in them, not their products.
Yeah, two of the most powerful questions that I heard recently were, do you want to be well known or do you want to be known well? And the problem that we have is that we all think we want to be well known.
Yeah.
But really the true opportunity comes from being known well. Who
Yeah.
are you? What do you stand for? And the only way to do that is to consistently tell your message, and then not only tell your message, but tell it so well that someone else will go and tell another person, you got to meet Joe. Mm-hmm. You got to fucking meet this guy.
Yeah. 1,000%. That's the struggle and the beauty of it. I enjoy, I guess one of the things that I made a conscious decision of a long time ago that's really helped me, and I don't know if it'll help other entrepreneurs, but is I love the journey.
Yeah.
I'm not always about the carrot. I like this.
Yeah.
I like living my life. I like doing my classes, and everything doesn't have to get me to an end result. Everything is getting me there whether I like it or not. But I like the journey. I like my days. I like sometimes when I'm just making bread. I don't have to post about it.
Yeah.
You know, like enjoying your life at the same time and having that be part of it. I think that's really important. I can't tell you how much headspace that gave me to just realize that it's not, it's just chasing it. Look, I get it. I want more too at times, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like everyone has that in them. But sitting back and like I was making cupcakes with my daughter a couple weeks ago. and we were just doing it, well, for Christmas. So, and I was like, oh, this would be a really fun Instagram, like, you know, her.
Yeah.
And then another voice came in my head and was just like, dude, just enjoy your daughter.
Yeah.
And it meant a lot to me, because it was like, yeah, you get caught up in it, right?
Yep.
And it's hard to steer the ship away from it sometimes. But that time I had with Skylar, we had a blast, because I wasn't concerned about anything else. It wasn't like, oh, hold on, do that again?
Yeah.
Let me do this. Oh, this would be a better angle. It was just me and her. And it meant a lot. So, you know, I did shoot the cupcakes after. But, you know, it, like, not always chasing, I think, gives you a better identity of yourself. And you get better content at the end of the day.
Yeah.
When you take yourself away from it sometimes and not worry about the end result all the time. Worry about what you're doing then. That was a find for me, because I'm just put my head down and grind,
Yeah.
that I lost focus of what was important and what this whole fucking thing's about. Right? My life isn't just my business. And that's been a thing for me, is because everything's so intertwined.
Yeah.
It's a gift and a curse. So it's definitely something that I would recommend to people, is just take a breath.
Mm-hmm.
Don't always chase.
One of my favorite quotes is from Jesse Itzler, who's an entrepreneur, phenomenal keynote speaker. But he says, "Don't give up what you have, chasing what you want."
I love that. For a second, I thought you were going to say Jesse from Full House. And I was like, man, what is that?
No, not Jesse from Full House. Jesse Itzler.
Yeah,
but
that's totally true, right? Because you can.
True. It is true.
It's very easy to do that.
Well, it's easy too, because I'm a big believer in manifesting your dreams. My grandfather was born on a farm in Bulgaria, in Portum, and he was never meant to be anything but a farm boy. And yet, because he was curious, because he was relentless, because he always wanted to learn, he gave us this incredible privileged life and came to America and became a medical doctor and became a real estate developer. But when you think about dreaming big dreams, which we always tried to do, and one of the questions I pose our guests is, when you look back on this interview, when we see this, in 2025 or 2027, 2030, and we review, that's the beautiful thing about content, is we can look back and go, well, that's what I was thinking back
right
then.
I'll be like, oh, I had so much more hair.
When you think 10 years down the line, what is the big dream?
Jeez, I don't know. I wish I had an answer that was great, but like for me, like I just want to keep doing what I'm doing and what I love, and enjoying it. And I really love my career right now.
Yeah.
I mean, selling a screenplay would be good, but that's a fucking lottery ticket.
Yeah.
But professional miniature golfers is pretty funny. You guys would watch that, right?
Yeah, of course.
Right? Like old school, like Blazing Saddles kind of shit. Like, we make fun of woke culture and everything else. So, something like that would be great. But if I get to keep doing what I'm doing right now, I mean, I would say I'm pretty blessed. I'm going to be I'm here today, right, in Boston with a friend of mine doing an awesome podcast, something I couldn't do. And then tomorrow I'm on my radio show, and then Thursday I'll be teaching sushi down here in the Seaport.
Awesome.
Like a lot of great things. I really, if I could just keep doing what I'm doing, that would make me super happy. And keep meeting people and connecting.
Yeah. So every single week on Wednesday and on Friday on LinkedIn, we want you, the listener, you, the viewer, to join us on stage. It's a chance to it's kind of like a live podcast, but you can meet our digital hospitality community. We want to hear about your restaurant. If you're in sales, if you're in marketing, if you're a content creator, join the community because it's a chance for us to learn more about you, possibly help you, but connect you to the community. If you want to connect with me, it's at Sean P. Walchef, ShawnPWalchef, and that's on Instagram's the fastest way. LinkedIn, TikTok, Facebook, all the platforms. Joe, what's the best place for people to keep in touch with you?
At Chef Joe Gatto. Yeah, Instagram. That's definitely the best way to get me.
And where's your show? Where can people watch?
Pluto TV.
Okay.
Streaming on Pluto. And you can get it from Instagram. All connects. I've got that link tree thing.
Beautiful.
So really easy to find. And definitely listen to my show on BUR and connect with me. I love connecting with people.
That's awesome. As always, you guys stay curious, get involved. Don't be afraid to ask for help. And we'll catch you next week. Thank you so much, Chef.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you.
This is awesome.